What's up, guys? I'm your host, Cody Brockway, and you are back here for another episode of Brockway's Vinyl Bites, baby. Woohoo! And today we are time traveling back into history. Yes, that's right. We're going back over 50 years to the year of 1972, one of music's most iconic and accomplished years. A year of total experimentation with art. And I've pulled out 20 records here that I think really nicely sum up what happened in 1972. There's hard rock, there's metal, there's pop, there's prog rock, there's all that sort of thing going on right here today on Brockway's Vinyl Bites. So let me get into the top 20. First, I'm going to give an honorable mention to the album Exile on Main Street by the Rolling Stones. That's such an iconic album. It didn't make my list here today, but it absolutely had to be mentioned because it's a very influential record. It's a nice double record and got a lot of great songs on it. So yeah, coming in here at number 20. And this is not a ranking, I should say. This is just 20 albums that I feel are good. Any one of these could be in the top 5. We're going to start off with Steely Dan and Can't Buy a Thrill, the record that put Steely Dan on the map. Of course, this is their debut album, back when they were a full-on band, before it was just Donald Fagen and Walter Becker calling all the shots. But yeah, there's a lot of big hits on here. I mean, Do It Again and Reelin' in the Years are two of the biggest cuts still to this day. Radio's played them all the time. But then you got Dirty Work and Midnight Cruiser and stuff. This is a really great record, and love the you know what spots all along this along the cover here. Those aren't from me, I should tell you. This is how the cover just looks. Steely Dan, Can't Buy a Thrill. Next up, what do we got? Oh, yeah. This is a lot of people's favorite album. David Bowie, Ziggy Stardust. I don't know if it's my favorite David Bowie album, but it is pretty damn iconic. This is the Ziggy Stardust character in full swing. Of course, he doesn't have the makeup on or anything on the cover here, but, it's the rise and fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars, right? I mean, iconic. What a great concept to this whole record. You got 5 Years, Soul Love, Moon Age Daydream, Starman, Lady Stardust, Suffragette City, and of course the title track, Ziggy Stardust. A lot of this stuff still gets played on radio to this day. Over 50 years later, this is known as one of the most iconic albums in history, and one of the best albums in 1972, unequivocally. David Bowie. And next up, we got some Pink Floyd, heading into some psyche prog territory here. This was an album that they had actually recorded as the soundtrack to a French movie called La Vallée that came out in 1972 as well. This is Obscured by Clouds. I really like this record. I've never seen the movie, I have to admit. Of course, you got the title track, Obscured by Clouds. You got When You're In. You got Childhood's End, which is possibly my favorite song on the album. You got Free For. Yeah, just a really decent, really fun listen. This is the one that would come out right before Dark Side of the Moon, of course. So still part of that early Pink Floyd thing, and yeah, great record. Obscured by Clouds. Next up, we got the first solo outing from the Who songsman here. That's right, we got Pete Townsend, and this is Who Came First. Great record. I love the song Let's See Action. Let's see people. Let's see for real. Da, 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 da. Let's see action. Nothing is everything, but most people probably know it as Let's See Action, right? Pure and easy. The whole record is really good, and this shows that Pete Townsend, well, you heard him sing on the Who records up to this point, but this is him singing the entire album. And I think he's a great singer, good guitarist, great songwriter. And it starts right here, for his solo stuff anyway. Obviously, with The Who, it started long before this. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Oh, yeah. We got Uriah Heep, The Magician's Birthday. Great record. Haven't spun this one in a while. Mick Box, David Byron. This classic lineup of Uriah Heep just kicking ass. The Magician's Birthday. Love the title track to this so much, and this is a lot of people. It's either a lot of people love this album, and a lot of people love Demons and Wizards, and of course, there's a lot of people that love all their albums, right? But usually, when you ask a fan, they say Demons and Wizards or The Magician's Birthday, and both came out in the same year, man. Woo-wee! What a year for those guys, and they continue to kick ass to this day. Their last album was a really good one as well with the current lineup. Yeah, they're still happening. They didn't fall off. They're still happening. And you know who's the guy that I wish was still happening, but is unfortunately no longer with us? Is Mark Bolan from T-Rex. One of my favorite albums, absolutely. The Slider, just an incredible record. This was produced by Tony Visconti, the same guy who was producing David Bowie at the time. You got Mark Bolan, you got Mickey Finn, Steve Curry, and Bill Legend, of course, in this album. He was good friends with Elton John, who we're going to see come up in a little while here. He was good friends with Elton John, and Elton John said, you got to go record at the Chateau de Raville. And that's what he did. He recorded this album there. He might have done Electric Warrior there, too, if I'm not mistaken. You can correct me on that if I'm wrong, but yeah. Great record. Metal Guru. Metal Guru, is it you? The Slider, Baby Boomerang, Buick McCain, Telegram Sam. Awesome record. Really, really good. And yeah, we're gonna talk about T-Rex's old friend Elton John from the Chateau de Raville. The album actually named after the studio, Honky Chateau. I love this record. Oh my god. Honky Cat, Mellow, I Think I'm Gonna Kill Myself, I can't speak. Susie, Dramas, Rocket Man, Salvation, Mona Lisa's and Mad Hatters, amazing. I love this record, and this is the original UNI pressing before MCA got to it and promptly destroyed the gatefolds. Yeah, we never forgave them for that. But yeah, I love this record, and it's a classic one. Obviously, you got Rocket Man on here too. I think I failed to mention that, but yeah, classic record. This is definitely part of like that 10 album period where he was just putting out album after album. It's just solid gold, top to bottom, and yeah, absolutely. This one is like kind of in the middle of that. Great stuff. Honky Chateau, Elton John. Next up, we're gonna look at another piano player. In fact, I think he played everything on this record. From 1972, of course, it is Music of My Mind from Stevie Wonder. What a fantastic record. I mean, God, this is so good. Love Having You Around, Superwoman, Where Were You When I Needed You? Like right now. Hey, I'm no singer, but you know if you watch Brockway's Vinyl Bites, I'm gonna sing to you. That's just how it goes. I love every little thing about you, sweet little girl. Great record. Cool imagery inside the gatefold, too. Love Stevie Wonder, and he also put out 2 records this year. He did this one and Talking Book as well. It's got Superstition and all that fun stuff. But I was going with this one. This is one of my favorite records, absolutely. And yeah, long live Stevie, man. We need you, brother. Stevie Wonder, make a new record while you're at it, too. All right. We're going to look at Bob Weir's solo album. Bob Weir from the Grateful Dead, of course. This was, I believe, his first solo record, and it's pretty much like an extension of the Grateful Dead. It's got all the members, it's got all the Grateful Dead guys playing on it, except for all the songs were written and sung by Bob and John Perry Barlow. But yeah, I love this record. This is the 50th anniversary remaster. The original is really hard to come by, but you got Greatest Story Ever Told, Black Throated Wind, Walk in the Sunshine, a song that never got played by the Dead anyway. Playing in the Band, Looks Like Rain, Mexicali Blues, One More Saturday Night, and Cassidy. Now, a lot of these songs had actually been written on the road with the Grateful Dead, and but this is the first time that they saw a studio release. And the songs that were written at this time, minus Walk in the Sunshine for whatever reason, unless any Deadheads can correct me on that, all the songs that ended up on this album became part of the Grateful Dead's live set after its release. And but yeah, I like this record a lot. Really good. Really good. Bob Weir, Ace. That's Aces, man. It's Aces. I'm telling you, it's Aces. And to hear from Bob Weir's band, this is the last Grateful Dead related thing happening here. But we got Europe 72. What a fantastic record. This is one of the most iconic live albums probably ever created. This is a nice big triple LP set. It opens up beautifully. Look at the artwork on this. And of course, well, some people don't know this, but if you look at the ice cream cone, it actually spells live here. Check that out. Can't tell if it's backwards or not, but pretty cool, pretty cool. This has got so many great tunes on it. We got Jack Straw. We got Cumberland Blues, He's Gone, Sugar Magnolia, a nice truckin' on here. But you know what? It ends with that version of Morning Dew, man. The chills, bro, the chills. What a beautiful song. What a beautiful album. All the performances on this are just fire. And Yeah, even if you're not a fan of the Grateful Dead, you don't have to be a Deadhead to be a Grateful Dead fan. I'm definitely a Grateful Dead fan. I don't partake in all the parking lot stuff and all the stuff that some of the fans do, not all the fans, but I'm an appreciator of their music and their art, and that's where it's at for me. Love the Grateful Dead. And Europe 72, absolutely incredible. Oh, what do we got next? Oh yeah. We got this beautiful set from Mr. Todd Rundgren. This is the box set edition that came out on Record Store Day about 2-3 years ago. But this album's from 1972. Something Anything. This is probably my favorite Todd album. Obviously, you know, the other records are good, like Wizard of True Star and all that, but this is probably my favorite one. The writing on here is just really, really top-notch. Couldn't I just tell you, I saw the light. Hello, it's me. Slut. Hello, it's me, slut. And for those that don't know, Slut is the song on this album. I'm not just throwing that in there, but yeah. Todd Rundgren, Something Anything. Great record. Of course, this is the cool 4LP colored vinyl box set edition where it plays on 45 RPM, and the sound is exquisite. Very good, very good. All right, what do we got coming up next here? We got Gentle Giant, so we're heading into full-on prog rock territory here for a couple albums. Octopus from 1972. Of course, they also had more than one record in the same year. Now, you're making records like this, how in the heck are you going to make 2 albums in the same year? Well, they did it. They got 3 Friends and this one, but this is the one I went for. I love this record. You got The Advent of Penurge. You got A Cry for Everyone. Knots. That's a wonky tune. Knots, my gosh. The Boys in the Band. Dog's Life, another wonky tune. This is a wonky album from a wonky band. Let's look at the gatefold here. Let's look at inside. This is one of their best albums for sure. Oh, yeah, love that imagery. And this is a UK pressing. If you get an American pressing, it's a really watered down, condensed cover where I don't even think it's a gatefold. I think it's just a picture of like an octopus inside of a jar. Hell with that, man. The real deal here on Brockways Vinyl Bites. That's how we do it. Woo! All right, so we're actually going to talk about a guy that released 3 records in 1972. I've only picked one of them, but he did the Grand Wazoo, he did the live album, Just Another Band from LA, and he did Waka Jawaka. I love this record. You get, of course, the sidelong instrumental with Big Swifty. It's amazing. You got Ainsley Dunbar on drums, and you got George Duke on keys. Before, George Duke would sort of be indoctrinated into the Mothers of Invention, and Ainsley Dunbar would kind of be on his way out. I think he would go and do some work with David Bowie and then Journey and all that after this. But yeah, Big Swifty. And then you got some vocals in tunes called Your Mouth, and it just might be a one-shot deal. And it ends with one of my favorite instrumental pieces, Waka Jawaka, which would be the title track itself. And I did an unboxing video on this. This is the green vinyl edition, the remastered one done by Bernie Grunman, the mastering and all that. So hunt down the channel, search down the channel for the unboxing if you want to see me open up this beautiful copy of this. But yeah, Frank Zappa, Waka Jawaka. Next up we got, what do we got here? This is a big one. This is the box set edition of Black Sabbath's Volume 4. Iconic, influential, very heavy, nice metal album, just great. And of course this has the remix from Steven Wilson located in it as well, and a bunch of cool live stuff from 1973, even though this came out in 72, but they were still, promoting it and touring it and all that the next year. You got The Wheels of Confusion, The Straightener, and Tomorrow's Dream, and Changes. One of the most famous songs on this, actually. Eminem sampled that in a song called Going Through Changes from his Recovery album from 2010. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about Black Sabbath here. Snowblind, Cornucopia, Under the Sun, Every Day Comes and Goes, St. Vitus Dance. If you listen to Ozzy's Boneyard on Sirius XM, you'll hear a lot of cuts from this album a lot of the time, and it's just a fantastic record. I mean, look at the picture of the guys on the back here. Jesus, that's just wonderful. Oh, this is a heavy box set too. Whew! But it's sweet. I've got all the Sabbath box sets, I think. I've got Paranoid, this one, Sabotage, and Technical Ecstasy too. Oh, and I got the Live Evil one as well. Great stuff. Moving forward, or still backward to the iconic year of 1972, but forward in today's video. Yes, the Prog adjacent Chicago 5. This is horny Prog in the sense that there's lots of horns. Get your mind out of the gutter, people. Chicago 5, I absolutely love this record. You got a hit by Varice, you've got Dialogue Part 1 and 2, and you've got Saturday in the Park. Just a fantastic record. Primetime Chicago, if you ask me. Although my favorite record is 2, but honestly, like the first... I do like 80s Chicago. I kind of grew up with that stuff because of my mom. But this to me is the prime era of Chicago, even though I think they're still good, actually. I've seen them live, and their latest record is still really decent. And they still put on a great live show. So yeah, absolutely. Chicago 5, great record. Great record. 1972 was a happening year, folks, if you can't tell. There was a lot of great music coming out left, right, and center, and obviously there's more than just the 20 that I've listed here, or that I'm continuing to list here, I should say, but, you know, there's so much good music you could dig in, and it's never-ending, man. Never-ending. One of the most iconic years in music, absolutely. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, the Trilogy record, and some guy named Carl Palmer was nice enough to draw on it for me here. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Oh yeah, there you go. I met Carl in 2019, so it was 5 years ago now, and he was just so cool. I got to tell him what a big inspiration he is on me and my drumming, and just how much of a big fan I am of his work. Obviously, he was playing with Asia at the time. That was pretty cool. But yeah, this is a monumental record. You get the Endless Enigma Part 1 and 2. You get the Sheriff. I like the Sheriff, okay? From the beginning, Hoedown, and obviously you got the title cut, the insanity, the wonderfully organized chaos that is Trilogy itself, the title track. Oh, Living Sin, Abaddon's Bolero, sorry. Yeah, I love this record. It's top tier stuff, top to bottom. It's high class. Great record. These guys just playing like they're trying to save their lives. Come on. We'll worry about that later. Keith Emerson, Greg Lake, Carl Palmer, just totally giving it to you. And, you know, there's a big hit single on here with From the Beginning, so they had a nice big charting single on an otherwise very heavy prog album. Classic. Classic. And speaking of classic, this is one of the most notorious hard rock albums ever made. From 1972, of course, it is Deep Purple, Machine Head. They got a new record coming out. I've been quite wowed by the singles, actually. And so I can't wait for that. That's coming out next month, actually. So you'll be seeing an unboxing video of that when it comes out. But right now we're talking about Machine Head. My favorite Deep Purple album, and this would be a Desert Island album for me, absolutely. Just incredible. You got Smoke on the Water, Highway Star, you got Lazy, Pictures of Home, Never Before, Maybe I'm a Leo. Did I just list off the whole album? Oh, and Space Truckin'. Otherwise, I listed off the whole album. I know it all by memory, man. Oh, such a great record. Richie Blackmore, Ian Gillan, Roger Glover, John Lord, and Ian Pace. How are you going to top that? And they still made tons of great records after this. You know, you got Burn, you got Stormbringer. Actually, I did a video over on Curlis Mania with my fellow music lover Tom Curlis, over on his channel, and we did an album battle between Burn and Stormbringer. And I'm going to be coming back there very soon to talk about some Pink Floyd with him. So more details on that later. But yeah, Deep Purple, Machine Head, one of the greatest rock albums of all time. Unequivocally, there's no denying that. And now we got the top three here. We got the top three here for sure. Jethro Tull's Thick as a Brick. I've talked about this at length here on the channel before, but it's this concept album. It's this wild concept album about this 8-year-old genius, Gerald Bostock. There he is being given an award by Mr. Winston Churchill. This album was actually intended to be a parody of prog rock, and it ended up becoming one of the milestone prog rock records of all time. Yeah, Barrymore Barlow, this is his first record with the band. Of course, you got Martin Barr, or Barre, Ian Anderson just firing on all cylinders. Just amazing, amazing. It's my favorite Jethro Tull album, although again, like there's so many good ones you can pick from, but this is the one, man, it's the one! Love Aqualung and Passion Play and Songs from the Wood and all those too, but that one, there's something about that, man. It's perfect. And yeah, we're going to actually talk about my favorite band of all time here. You'd think that they'd probably come in at number one, but they're pretty close. Even though, like I said before, this is not a ranking. But we were talking about Genesis, one of the ultimate albums from 1972. When you think of 1972, you think of this album. At least I do. Foxtrot. Oh. Peter Gabriel, Tony Banks, Mike Rutherford, Phil Collins, Steve Hackett, and a guy named Steve Hackett, of course, was nice enough to sign this for me here. On one of the many times I met him. I've actually interviewed him too. I gotta upload that interview to the channel here. I think you guys would like it. But yeah, Foxtrot. Whew. Fantastic. What a fantastic record. I mean, my God. Supper's Ready. One of the most monumental pieces of music in absolute history as far as I'm concerned. Supper's Ready, all 22 minutes. I've seen Steve Hackett play that live a bunch of times. It's just great. But you got other tracks too. Watcher of the Skies, one of the most moody, beautiful opening tracks that an album could ever have. Ken Utility and the Coastliners, Get 'Em Out by Friday, where they're basically being kicked out and the rent is going up. And so in order to fit more people in homes, they gotta basically cut people and make them shorter. It's just hilarious. And it's true. It still rings true to this day. You know, crap like that is still happening out there, especially here in Canada. But yeah, the Genesis guys getting it right. Foxtrot, 1972. Amazing. Amazing. And the number one, like I said, this is not a ranking, but if I have to pick number one, the number one record in 1972... If Jeff Shilka's in the comments here, if he's watching this, he's going to know what number one is. And it's the album that's on my shirt, you know, Close to the Edge by Yes. This is an absolutely perfect record. It is a 10 out of 10. It is quite possibly the ultimate prog rock album ever made. Some might argue that Fragile could be as well, which actually no, that came out in 1971. They did two albums in 71. They did the Yes album and Fragile, and then 1972 brought us this absolutely iconic masterpiece. Side one is Close to the Edge, the title track in full, 19 minutes. Well, I guess it's 18 minutes, 50 seconds if my fandom memory can remember correctly, because it doesn't tell you on the back, but And You and I and Siberian Catru. So yeah, 18 minutes of Close to the Edge, and then And You and I is 10 minutes, and Siberian Catru is 8 minutes, and it's just... It flies by, man. Not a second of music, not a second of airtime wasted here. It is a perfect record, top to bottom. And it's so good that you want to hear it again when the album ends, because it leaves you wanting more. That's a sign of a good record, you know. You got John Anderson, Bill Bruford, Steve Howe, Chris Squire, and Rick Wakeman. This is a very classic lineup of Yes. Bill Bruford would actually leave the band 3 days before the tour for this would start. And Alan White would come in, and thus starts another classic lineup of the band. But yeah, this is just absolutely iconic, incredible. All right, folks, so that is our little foray into 1972 here on Brockway's Vinyl Bites. I hope you liked what you saw. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We're coming back to 2024 now after this wonderful outing in this time traveling here. So like I said, like and subscribe for more cool content all the damn time, and don't you forget to rock on, baby. Yeah.